Thank you, Riesa. We got a question for all you parents out there. Are you stressed out? Well, chances are that your kids are actually feeling it too. Joining us today is parenting expert Katherine Sellery. She's going to share with us 5 ways for us to manage the effects of stress so your kids won't bear the brunt of it. Here's the thing, Katherine. First off, welcome back to the show. We get the stress. We know how to deal with it. Kids are so young, they don't know how to deal with it, but they're feeling it. Is that right?
Yeah, and we're not always great at dealing with our stress either.
No, not at all. We think we are, right?
Hopefully we think we are, but we all have those outbursts that we're embarrassed by,
Yes.
and we're all human. And it's so great to model that for our children, that we also mess up, we make mistakes. And it's just really important for us to forgive ourselves.
All right, let's talk with 5 tips that you have. Here's the first one, forgiving yourself. All right, it seems like I can do that. Is that easier said than done?
I think so. For a lot of people, it's difficult, but it's such a great skill for you to learn how to do for yourself and model for your kids so that they feel okay about also messing up sometimes and knowing there's a way to redeem themselves. So our bandwidth, it's always fluctuating. Sometimes stressful situations, we handle them well. Other times we don't.
Yeah.
And we have these outbursts.
I
So
thi-
forgive yourself.
I think it also shows that you're taking responsibility. If you're forgiving,
Totally.
yeah, and that's the biggest thing in my life with my kids. All right. Second is actually
Absolutely.
apologizing. How do you do
Yeah.
that instead of, all right, hey, sorry about that?
Yeah, a genuine apology goes a long way. And again, it's also you're modeling how to do that. So your kids look at you and they're like, oh, they don't know this is how I apologize for my overreactions. Say that you're sorry, acknowledge your overreaction. As you said, take responsibility, admit you were triggered. And then, I have mistakes that I make. I'll do better next time. So ask your kids for consideration so that they know that it's not always their responsibility. It's important that you can say things like, hey, would you be willing to pick up your shoes next time? I'm worried I'm going to trip and fall.
Very good. Yeah, it gives that responsibility again, which I was talking to. I imagine, too, it also opens up dialogue where you can have some kind of a conversation with them. It's like, how do you think I should have handled, maybe asking them point blank,
Good.
kind of like switching roles a little bit, right?
That would be amazing. That kind of being able to switch yourself into other people's shoes. It's one of life's great skills,
All right.
thinking about what it's like to be in your moccasins.
All righty. And you got to remind for our third tip, it's not about them. That one, you have to explain that one to me.
Yeah. So kids often personalize everything. So if you get upset, they think it's their fault. If other people
Right.
are exploding, they take responsibility for other people's feelings. Like it's always their responsibility. They did something wrong. It's not true. So let your kids know why you're feeling so upset, because that understanding breeds empathy. So share what's happening. Obviously, don't overshare, share, kind of like responsibly, but you can say, hey, I'm really having trouble with a client at work. Something's on my nerves. I
I
just
love
don't know
that.
what to do about it. But just keep it, keep it so that they understand other factors affect how you're doing.
Okay. All right. Well, I kind of preface this a little bit, but talk about it. How deep, and you just mentioned, don't overshare and that sort of thing, but talk about it. Again, this has to open up a great way for you to just even have a conversation, right?
Yeah, I used to have a professor in school who talked about teachable moments. So transform those imperfect situations into teachable moments for your kids so that you can share and start a conversation about the effects of stress, encouraging them to identify their stressful situations. You can even talk about, are there times when you've overreacted and you felt like, oh my God, I felt so silly. So how does everybody in the family effectively handle those tense situations is a wonderful conversation.
I have about 24 separate hours a day of actually learning those
Long
life
list.
lessons. Long list, indeed. Finally, you say ask for help. Are you talking about outside from your kids or your kids themselves?
Well, it's really important that you can ask for help from your kids, but you've got to, again, make them realize that you're so responsible for your own feelings and they are not, because they're always going to think it is.
Okay.
So when you're feeling good and you feel like your co-parent might be struggling, you could step in and take over. You could say to your co-parent, hey, I'm really struggling with this situation. I feel like I'm not going to handle it very well. Would you mind taking over? So you can do that if you have a person that you're co-parenting with.
I love
So you
that.
can just help each other out in a way that doesn't shame somebody else, because we are so not about mommy shaming and daddy shaming, but about supporting each other. We all mess up. Let your kids know we all mess up.
And it's a part of learning, and you have to make those
Mhm.
mistakes in order to learn. Folks want more information because we can talk about this all the time. I want to have you back to talk more.
Yeah.
Where can they go to find out more info?
consciousparentingrevolution.com.
All right, very good. Katherine, we love having you here and learning so we could be better parents all in all. All in all, I think we're doing well. We just got to remember they're not little people. They're not little adults. They're little people. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, we have more Daily Flash right around the corner. Please don't go anywhere. We love having you along.